His fingers traced her jawline as moonlight spilled through the penthouse windows. "You came here to destroy me," Min-jun whispered, his voice rough with desire and fury. "So why does it feel like you're the one breaking me apart?" Jade's breath hitched as his other hand gripped her waist, pulling her closer. The gun she'd hidden in her dress pressed cold against her thigh, a reminder of why she was really here. But when his lips hovered inches from hers, all she could think about was how she'd fallen for the man she was supposed to kill. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss when more mind-blowing stories drop. And hey, drop a comment telling me what time it is where you are. I want to know who's watching from where. Jade Carter had learned early that survival meant keeping your head down. At 23, she'd mastered the art of invisibility, working double shifts at a Brooklyn diner while raising her 14-year-old sister Nia alone. Their parents had died in a house fire 3 years ago, a fire that police called accidental, but Jade knew better. She just couldn't prove it. The diner where she worked smelled perpetually of grease and burnt coffee. Her feet ached constantly, her back hurt from carrying heavy trays, and her hands were covered in small burns from the kitchen. But she never complained. Every dollar she made went toward keeping Nia in private school, making sure her sister had opportunities Jade never had. "Table 6 is getting impatient," her manager barked one afternoon in early October. Jade forced a smile and hurried over with the order. The customers barely looked at her. She was used to that. In their world, she was just the help. Invisible, forgettable. That evening, as she walked home through Brooklyn's dimly lit streets, her phone rang. Nia's name flashed on the screen. "Hey, baby girl, what's up?" "Jade, I'm scared." Nia's voice trembled. "There's someone outside our apartment. They've been standing there for an hour, just staring at our building." Jade's blood ran cold. Her protective instincts kicked in immediately. "Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone. Chain it. Put the deadbolt on. I'm coming home right now." She ran the last 6 blocks, her heart pounding, her mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Brooklyn wasn't the safest neighborhood, but they'd never had trouble before. She burst through the building's entrance and took the stairs 2 at a time, but she was too late. When she burst through their apartment door 20 minutes later, the place was destroyed. Furniture overturned, Nia's schoolbooks scattered across the floor like fallen leaves, family photos knocked off the walls with glass shattered everywhere. And in the center of it all, on their small coffee table, a single black envelope with her name written in elegant Korean calligraphy. Her hands shook as she opened it. "Ms. Carter, your sister is safe? For now. Come to the address below. Alone. You have 2 hours. Don't involve the police. Don't tell anyone. Come alone, or she dies. Choi Seo-yeon." Jade's knees went weak. She grabbed the edge of the couch to steady herself, her mind spinning. Who was Choi Seo-yeon? Why would someone kidnap Nia? They had nothing. No money, no connections, no enemies. This had to be a mistake. But the destroyed apartment told her it wasn't. She grabbed her jacket and ran back out into the night. The address burned into her mind. The warehouse at the Brooklyn Navy Yard was exactly the kind of place where people disappeared forever. It sat on the edge of the water, isolated, surrounded by abandoned buildings and rusted shipping containers. Jade knew this. She also knew she had no choice. The door was unlocked. That was the first bad sign. Inside, the space was dimly lit, industrial, cold. A woman stood in the center, surrounded by 6 men in black suits. She was beautiful in that terrifying way, like a knife wrapped in silk. Her tailored white suit probably cost more than Jade made in 6 months. Her black hair was pulled back in a severe bun, her makeup flawless, her posture perfect. "Jade Carter," the woman said, her Korean accent crisp and refined. "I'm Choi Seo-yeon. Please, sit." There was a single chair in the middle of the empty space. Jade stayed standing, Where's my sister? Jade demanded, her voice stronger than she felt. Seo-yeon smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Safe, comfortable even. I'm not a monster, Ms. Carter. She's in a nice room with food, water, entertainment. Whether she stays that way depends entirely on you. What do you want from me? Direct. I like that. Seo-yeon gestured, and one of her men placed a folder on the table between them. Inside is everything you need to know about Park Min-jun. He's the head of the Park crime family, one of the most powerful Korean mafia organizations in America. He operates out of Manhattan, controls half the city's underground, and is virtually untouchable. Jade's stomach dropped. She'd heard whispers about Korean mafia operating in New York, but she'd never imagined she'd be anywhere near that world. I don't understand. Why are you telling me this? Because you're going to kill him. The words hung in the air like smoke. Jade actually laughed, a desperate, disbelieving sound. You're insane. I'm a waitress, not an assassin. I don't even know how to use a gun. You'll learn, Seo-yeon said coldly. And you're not just a waitress. You're a survivor. Your parents died when you were 20. Instead of falling apart, you took custody of your teenage sister. You worked 2 jobs. You put her through private school on a waitress's salary. You're resourceful, determined, and most importantly, you're desperate. Desperation doesn't make me a killer. No, Seo-yeon agreed. But love does. Love for your sister. You'd do anything to protect her, wouldn't you? Jade's silence was answer enough. Seo-yeon opened the folder, revealing a photograph of a man. Even in the picture, he was striking. Sharp jawline, intense eyes that seemed to see through the camera, an aura of controlled power that was almost palpable. He was dressed in an expensive black suit, standing in what looked like a corporate office, looking every bit the successful businessman rather than a crime lord. Park Min-jun, Seo-yeon continued, her voice taking on a harder edge. He's 32 years old, born in Seoul, came to America when he was 20. In 12 years, he built an empire. Real estate, shipping, restaurants, nightclubs, all legitimate fronts for money laundering, weapons trafficking, and worse. If he's that powerful, why do you need me? Hire a professional. Seo-yeon's expression darkened. I've tried. 3 times. Min-jun is paranoid, careful. He has security that would make the Secret Service jealous. He trusts no one, but he's also lonely. Despite all his power, he's human. And humans have weaknesses. What weakness? He's looking for an executive assistant. Someone smart, capable, trustworthy. Someone who can handle his legitimate business operations. Seo-yeon's eyes raked over Jade appraisingly. Someone beautiful enough to catch his attention but professional enough not to seem like a threat. Jade shook her head. There has to be someone else, a professional. Someone trained for this. Professionals look like professionals. They move like killers. Think like killers. Min-jun would spot them in seconds. Seo-yeon stepped closer. But you're perfect. Beautiful, young, American, completely off his radar. You have nothing in your background that connects you to this world. You're invisible to him, which makes you the perfect weapon. I won't do it. I can't. Seo-yeon pulled out her phone and turned it toward Jade. On the screen, Nia sat in a stark room, crying. A man standing guard behind her. The timestamp showed it was from 5 minutes ago. Your sister is 14 years old, Seo-yeon said quietly. Such a vulnerable age. It would be a shame if something happened to her. If she disappeared into the trafficking networks that run through this city. If she ended up in a place where no one would ever find her. You wouldn't, Jade whispered, horror washing over her. I would, without hesitation. You see, Ms. Carter, this isn't personal for me. It's business. Park Min-jun destroyed my life 3 years ago. We were business partners once. Then he betrayed me, stole my operations, had my brother killed in front of me, and left me with nothing. I've spent 3 years rebuilding, planning, waiting for the perfect moment to destroy him the way he destroyed me. Seo-yeon's voice was ice. I want his empire, but first, I want him dead. I want him to feel betrayal the way I did. I want him to trust someone completely and then have that trust shattered. And you, Jade Carter, are going to give me that. And if I refuse? Seo-yeon's smile was cruel. Then your sister pays for your cowardice. I'll make her suffering last. And when she finally dies, I'll send you pieces of her, one by one, so you never forget what your refusal cost. Jade felt bile rise in her throat. She looked at Nia on the screen. So young, so scared. The sister she'd raised, protected, sacrificed everything for. If I do this, she said slowly, you'll let her go? Unharmed? The moment Park Min-jun is dead, your sister will be released. You have my word. The word of a criminal. The word of a businesswoman, Seo-yeon corrected. I keep my deals, Ms. Carter. It's how I survive in this world. Do this for me, and you both walk away free. Refuse, and you both die. Those are your only options. Jade stared at the photograph of Min-jun again. He looked powerful, dangerous, untouchable. How was she supposed to get close to a man like that, let alone kill him? But when she looked at Nia's face on the phone, terrified and alone, she knew she didn't have a choice. Okay, she whispered. I'll do it. Seo-yeon's smile was victorious. Excellent. Your training begins tomorrow. The next week passed in a blur of preparation. Seo-yeon had resources Jade couldn't even imagine. They moved her out of her Brooklyn apartment into a luxury penthouse in Tribeca. Her clothes were replaced with designer labels. Her hair was styled by professionals. They even sent her to a dermatologist to perfect her skin. But the real work was harder. You need to become someone else, Seo-yeon explained on the first day. Jade Carter, the waitress from Brooklyn, doesn't get an interview with Park Min-jun. But Jade Carter, Harvard Business School graduate with 3 years at Goldman Sachs? She does. They created a flawless fake identity, a backstory that could withstand scrutiny, references from people who'd been paid or threatened into lying. Social media accounts going back years, carefully curated to show a successful young woman who belonged in Min-jun's world. You studied business administration, one of Seo-yeon's men drilled into her. You graduated top of your class. You worked in investment banking but found it unfulfilling. You want to work for someone who actually makes a difference. But I don't know anything about business, Jade protested. You will. You have 3 days to learn everything in these books. They gave her textbooks, case studies, financial reports. Jade barely slept, cramming information into her head like she was studying for the most important exam of her life. Because she was. If she failed this test, Nia died. They also taught her how to move in Min-jun's world, how to walk in heels without wobbling, how to eat at expensive restaurants, what wine to order, how to make small talk with wealthy people. It was like learning a foreign language. Min-jun notices everything, Seo-yeon warned. One wrong move, one moment where you seem out of place, and he'll see through you. You need to be perfect. What if I can't? Then your sister dies, and you'll have killed her through your incompetence. The pressure was suffocating, but Jade pushed through it, driven by thoughts of Nia. They also taught her about Min-jun himself. His habits, his preferences, his routines. He worked 14-hour days. He was obsessive about punctuality. He drank his coffee black. He hated excuses and respected efficiency. He was fluent in English, Korean, and Japanese. He had a photographic memory and could spot a lie instantly. How am I supposed to fool someone like that? Jade asked, panic rising. By telling the truth whenever possible, Seo-yeon said. The best lies are wrapped in truth. Be yourself. Just a version of yourself that went to Harvard instead of community college. Everything else, your work ethic, your determination, your intelligence, that's all real. He'll sense that authenticity. It's what will make him trust you. The night before her interview, Seo-yeon came to the penthouse herself. "Tomorrow, everything changes," she said. "You walk into Park Min-jun's office as his potential assistant. You walk out as his future killer. Do you understand?" Jade nodded, her throat tight. "Remember, you're doing this for Nia. Every smile, every lie, every moment you spend near him, it's all for her. Don't lose sight of that." "Can I see her? Just for a minute? Please?" Seo-yeon considered this, then pulled out her phone. She made a call, and moments later, Nia's face appeared on the screen. "Jade!" Nia's eyes were red from crying. "Please, I want to come home. I'm scared." "I know, baby, I know." Jade's voice broke. "But I need you to be brave for me, okay? Just a little longer. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to bring you home. Promise? I promise. I love you so much." "I love you too." The call ended. Jade wiped her tears, forcing herself to breathe. "Don't make promises you can't keep," Seo-yeon said coldly. "I will keep it. I'll do whatever it takes." "Good. Because tomorrow, you meet the man you're going to destroy." The Park Corporation building in Midtown Manhattan was all glass and steel, a monument to power and money. Jade's heels clicked against marble floors as she entered the lobby, her heart hammering against her ribs. Security was everywhere. Cameras, guards, ID scanners. This wasn't just a corporate office. It was a fortress. She gave her name to the receptionist, who made a call and then smiled professionally. "Mr. Park will see you now. Top floor." The elevator ride felt eternal. Jade caught her reflection in the mirrored walls. She looked the part. Expensive navy dress, hair perfect, makeup subtle but flawless. She looked like she belonged here. "You can do this. For Nia. Just get through the interview." The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. The penthouse level was stunning. Modern art on the walls, floor-to-ceiling windows with breathtaking views of Manhattan, furniture that probably cost more than she'd made in her entire life. A man in his 40s approached. He wore glasses and had the cautious demeanor of someone who'd learned not to trust easily. "Ms. Carter, I'm Lee Dong-woo, Mr. Park's chief of staff. Please, follow me." He led her down a hallway to massive double doors. Mr. Park values punctuality, discretion, and efficiency above all else. He doesn't tolerate mistakes. If you're hired, you'll work harder than you've ever worked in your life. Is that something you can handle? "Yes, sir." He studied her for a moment, then nodded and opened the doors. The office was massive, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. And standing by those windows, hands in his pockets, was Park Min-jun. The photograph hadn't done him justice. He was taller than she'd expected, easily 6 feet, broad-shouldered, his black suit perfectly tailored to his frame. His black hair was styled back, revealing a face that was almost too perfect. Sharp jawlines, high cheekbones, intense dark eyes that seemed to see everything. When he turned to face her, the force of his presence hit her like a physical thing. "Ms. Carter." His voice was deep, controlled, with just a hint of a Korean accent that somehow made it more compelling. "Sit." She did, forcing her hands to stay steady in her lap. He walked around his desk with the grace of a predator, every movement controlled and deliberate. He sat across from her, those dark eyes studying her with an intensity that made her want to squirm. He picked up her resume, scanning it with the same intensity he'd turned on her. "Your references are impressive. Harvard graduate, top 5% of your class, 3 years at Goldman Sachs, where you worked on several high-profile mergers, fluent in Korean, which is rare for someone with your background." He looked up. Why leave a six-figure job to be someone's assistant? Jade had practiced this answer 100 times. Because I'm tired of being a number in a corporation, sir. At Goldman, I was one analyst among hundreds. My work mattered, but only in the sense that it made rich people richer. I want to work for someone who actually makes decisions that matter. Someone who changes things, who builds things, who leaves a mark on the world. You think I change things? I think you control things. There's a difference. Something flickered in his eyes. Interest, maybe. Or suspicion. She couldn't tell. Most people are afraid of me, he said, leaning back in his chair. Within 5 minutes of meeting me, they're nervous, stumbling over their words, trying too hard to impress me. You're not. Should I be? Afraid, I mean? His lips quirked slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. Yes, most people should be. Well, I'm not most people. Now he did smile, just slightly. No, I can see that. He stood, and suddenly he was moving around the desk, stopping just in front of her. Up close, he was even more overwhelming. She caught the scent of his cologne, expensive, masculine, subtle. I respect honesty more than fear, Miss Carter. I've built my success on reading people, understanding what they really want beneath the things they say. You want purpose? You want to matter. I can give you that. He extended his hand. You're hired. Start tomorrow, 8 a.m. Don't be late. Jade stood on shaky legs and took his hand. His grip was firm, warm, sending an unexpected jolt through her. Thank you, Mr. Park. I won't let you down. See that you don't. I don't give second chances. As she left, her legs shaky, she could feel his eyes on her back. She made it to the elevator before her knees nearly gave out. Phase 1 was complete. She'd gotten the job. But as the elevator descended, she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just stepped into a trap she didn't fully understand. Park Min-jun wasn't what she'd expected. Yes, he was intimidating, powerful, dangerous. But there was something else there too. Something human beneath the cold exterior. Don't think about that, she told herself. He's a criminal, a murderer. Remember why you're here? That night, she called Seo-yeon from a burner phone. It's done. I start tomorrow. Excellent. Seo-yeon sounded pleased. Remember, get close to him. Learn his routines, his weaknesses. When the time comes, I'll provide the weapon. All you have to do is pull the trigger. How long do I have? As long as it takes. But don't take too long, Miss Carter. The longer your sister stays in my custody, the more restless my men become. Young girls can be very tempting to men who've been away from civilization for too long. The threat was clear. Jade closed her eyes, fighting nausea. I understand. Good. Don't disappoint me. The line went dead. Working for Min-jun was nothing like Jade expected. She'd imagined a cold, cruel boss who barked orders and treated her like a servant. Instead, she found a man who was demanding but never unfair, exacting but never cruel. Her first day, she arrived at 7:45 a.m., 15 minutes early. Min-jun was already there, of course, working at his desk like he'd been there for hours. He probably had been. Coffee, he said without looking up. Black, no sugar. There's a cafe 2 blocks south. They know my order. She hurried out, grateful for something concrete to do. When she returned with his coffee, he took it without a word, still focused on his computer screen. She stood there awkwardly, unsure what to do next. Your desk is outside, he said, finally glancing at her. Lee will show you your duties. I expect you to learn quickly. I don't like repeating myself. Yes, sir. Her desk was just outside his glass office, positioned so she could see him but also monitor who came and went. Lee Dong-woo spent the morning training her on the computer systems, the filing methods, Min-jun's schedule, and preferences. He's very particular, Lee explained. Everything has to be organized exactly right. Phone messages on the left side of his desk, urgent items flagged in red. He reviews his schedule every morning at 8 and every evening at 6. He takes lunch at his desk, usually something light. Dinner meetings are common. He works late, usually until 10 or 11. Does he ever sleep? Jade asked. Lee smiled slightly. Not much. But that's not your concern. Your job is to make his life easier, not question it. The work was intense. Endless phone calls, scheduling meetings, preparing reports, coordinating with department heads. Min-jun ran his empire with ruthless efficiency, and she was expected to match his pace. But he wasn't cruel. When she made a mistake on her second day, transposing 2 numbers in a financial report, he simply corrected it and said, "Double-check everything. Mistakes in my world can be costly." No yelling, no threats, just a calm expectation of improvement. By the end of the first week, she was exhausted but also surprised. Min-jun was nothing like what Seo-yeon had described. Yes, he was demanding and cold, but he also made sure she took lunch breaks. When she stayed late, he had his driver take her home. He remembered details about her, asking if her apartment was comfortable, if she needed anything. "You're very quiet," he said one evening as they worked late. "Most people feel the need to fill silence with chatter. You don't." "I've learned that silence is often more valuable than words," she said carefully. He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something passed between them. A moment of understanding, of recognition. "Most people don't understand that," he said quietly. "They think power is loud. It's not. Real power is silent, controlled." She nodded, unsure what to say. "You can go home," he said, turning back to his computer. "It's late. You're still working." "I always am." "That sounds lonely." He paused, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. "It is." The admission surprised her. For just a moment, the mask slipped, and she saw something vulnerable beneath the cold exterior. Then it was gone. "Good night, Miss Carter." "Good night, sir." 3 weeks passed. Jade fell into a rhythm, learning the intricacies of Min-jun's world. She also started noticing things, the way his jaw tightened when certain people called, how he always checked his phone exactly 3 times during meetings, the fact that he never ate lunch alone if he could help it, always working through meals. She also noticed how he looked at her sometimes. Quick glances when he thought she wasn't paying attention. The way his voice softened slightly when he spoke to her. How he found excuses to call her into his office for things that could have been handled over the phone. It terrified her because she was starting to feel it too. The pull toward him. The way her heart raced when he smiled. How she found herself wanting to stay late just to be near him. "Stop it," she told herself. "He's your target, not your friend. Definitely not anything more." But it was getting harder to remember that. One evening, about a month into her job, Min-jun surprised her. "Come with me," he said, putting on his coat. "Where, sir?" "You'll see." They drove through Manhattan in his private car, a sleek black sedan with bulletproof windows. She'd learned that he never drove himself, always had a driver, always sat in the back where he could work. Tonight, though, he wasn't working. He was looking out the window, his expression thoughtful. They ended up in Koreatown, at a small restaurant tucked between 2 larger buildings. The kind of place with plastic chairs and handwritten menus that Jade would have felt comfortable in, not the expensive places Min-jun usually frequented. "This is where I come when I need to remember who I was before," he said quietly, holding the door open for her. Inside, an elderly Korean woman greeted Min-jun with a huge smile, speaking rapid Korean. He replied in kind, his whole demeanor changing. He seemed younger, lighter, almost happy. They sat at a small table in the back. Min-jun ordered for both of them in Korean, then turned to her. "You must think I'm strange," he said, "taking you to a place like this." "Not strange. Human." He smiled slightly. "Most people forget I'm human. I forget sometimes too." The food came. Simple but delicious. Kimchi jjigae, grilled mackerel, banchan spread across the table. As they ate, Min-jun talked. Really talked. In a way he never had before. "I grew up in Seoul," he began, "in a neighborhood that doesn't exist anymore. My father worked in a factory, 16-hour days, breaking his body for a paycheck that barely fed us. My mother cleaned houses. We had nothing." "How did you end up here?" "My father died when I was 18. Heart attack at work. They gave my mother 3 months severance and sent her away like he'd never mattered." His jaw tightened. "I swore that day that I'd never be powerless again. Never let someone else decide my worth." "So you came to America?" "With $50 and a dream. Worked in restaurant kitchens, construction sites, anywhere that would hire me. Learned English by watching television. Learned business by watching how money moved, who had power, who didn't." "And you built all of this?" "I built an empire," he corrected. "But empires are lonely places, Jade. You surround yourself with people, but you can't trust any of them. You have everything you wanted, but nothing you need." "What do you need?" He looked at her then, and the intensity in his eyes made her breath catch. "I'm still figuring that out." The moment stretched between them, heavy with unspoken things. "Why are you telling me this?" Jade asked, her throat tight. "Because for the first time in 10 years, I don't feel alone." Those words hit her like a punch. She should have felt triumphant. She was getting close, earning his trust, doing exactly what Seo-yeon wanted. But all she felt was guilt. That night, lying in the expensive apartment Seo-yeon had provided, Jade called the emergency number. "I need to talk to Nia," she said when Seo-yeon answered. "No. Please, just for a minute. I need to know she's okay." "She's fine, comfortable, well-fed. Stop worrying about her and focus on the mission." "I am focused. I'm getting close to him. He's starting to trust me." "Good. Then keep pushing. Make him need you. Make him dependent on you. And when the moment is right, I'll give you the weapon." "I can't do this," Jade whispered. "He's not what you said he was. He's not a monster." Seo-yeon's laugh was cold and sharp. "He's exactly what I said. A murderer. A criminal who's destroyed countless lives. Don't let his charm fool you, Jade. That man has killed more people than you can imagine. He's a monster wearing a human face." "Then why do I feel like I'm the monster here?" "Because you're weak. But you'll do this anyway. Because the alternative is watching your sister die. And not quickly, Jade. I'll make sure she suffers. I'll make sure she knows it's your fault. Can you live with that?" Jade closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. "No." "Then stop questioning and start doing your job. Get close to him. Make him fall for you. And when I give the order, you end him. Understand?" "Yes." "Good. Don't call this number again unless it's an emergency." The line went dead. 2 months passed in a blur. The lines between Jade's real self and her fake identity began to blur. She was good at her job. Really good. Min-jun trusted her with increasingly important tasks, sensitive information, access to parts of his business most people never saw. And somewhere along the way, the pretending became real. She started looking forward to seeing him every morning, started memorizing the small things he liked, how he took his coffee, which restaurants he preferred, the way his eyes lit up when he talked about architecture. She found herself wanting to make him smile, to ease the tension that always seemed to live in his shoulders. And he was changing too, opening up in ways that clearly surprised even him. He took her to art galleries, explaining which pieces moved him and why, to late-night jazz clubs where they'd sit in comfortable silence, just listening, to quiet moments on his penthouse terrace where Manhattan spread out like a promise below them. "I've never brought anyone here before," he admitted one night, leaning against the railing. "This is my space, where I come when the world gets too loud." "I'm honored," Jade said, meaning it. He turned to look at her, the city lights reflecting in his dark eyes. "You should be. I don't share my life with people, Jade. It's too dangerous. But with you..." He trailed off, seeming to struggle with the words. "With you, it feels different. Safe." Her heart twisted. "Min-jun, I know this is inappropriate," he continued. "You work for me. There are boundaries I shouldn't cross. But I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop wanting..." He stopped himself, jaw clenching. "Forget I said anything." "I can't forget," she whispered. "Because I feel it too." The admission hung between them, dangerous and electric. "We shouldn't," he said, but he was moving closer. "I know. This could ruin everything." "I know." "Jade..." She closed the distance between them, rising on her toes to kiss him. For a moment he froze, surprised. Then his hands were in her hair, pulling her closer, kissing her back with desperate intensity. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to hers. "This changes everything," he whispered. "I know," she said again, and this time, her voice broke. That night, everything shifted. They didn't talk about what it meant, didn't define it. But from that moment on, she was his. Not just his assistant, his woman, as he started calling her when they were alone. Min-jun courted her the way powerful men do, with grand gestures and careful attention. Flowers appeared on her desk every morning. Beautiful, expensive arrangements that made her coworkers whisper. Designer bags showed up at her apartment with notes in his handwriting. Perfumes, jewelry, things she'd never dreamed of owning. But it was the small things that undid her. The way he'd text her good morning before she even woke up. How he made sure she ate during busy days. The protective hand he'd place on her lower back when they walked together. The way he'd smile at her. A real smile that transformed his face from intimidating to beautiful. He took her on dates, though he never called them that. Dinner by the Han River. Even though they were in New York, he found a Korean place that reminded him of home. A late-night walk through Central Park with his security trailing discreetly behind. A weekend trip to his private cabin upstate where they could be alone without eyes watching. They went to the movies like normal people, sharing popcorn and arguing playfully about the ending. He taught her basic Korean, laughing when she mispronounced words. She introduced him to American music he'd never heard, watching him try to understand hip-hop. To everyone else, they looked like a normal couple, successful, happy, in love. And that was the problem, because Jade was falling in love with him. Really, truly falling. Every morning when she woke up, her first thought was of him. Every night before sleep, he was the last thing on her mind. She dreamed about a future that could never exist, one where they were just Min-jun and Jade, not Mafia boss and assassin. "What are you thinking about?" he asked one night as they lay on his couch, her head on his chest, his fingers playing with her hair. "Nothing important," she lied. "You're lying. Your voice changes when you lie. It gets quieter." She looked up at him. "You notice everything, don't you? About you?" "Yes. Everything." He cupped her face gently. "Talk to me. What's wrong?" "I'm just..." She searched for words that weren't the truth. "I'm afraid this isn't real. That I'll wake up, and it'll all be a dream." He kissed her forehead, soft and tender. "It's real, Jade. More real than anything I've ever had. I've spent my whole life building walls, keeping people out. But you..." He paused, his voice dropping to barely a whisper. You walked past every wall like they didn't exist. You made me feel things I swore I'd never feel. What things? Hope, happiness, love. The last word came out rough, like it hurt to say. I love you, Jade. I didn't want to. I tried not to. But I do. Her eyes filled with tears. Min-jun, you don't have to say it back, he said quickly. I know this is complicated. I know my world is dangerous. But I needed you to know. I needed you to understand that if anything ever happened to me, you're the best thing I've ever had. The guilt nearly destroyed her. Here was this man, this powerful, dangerous, impossibly complicated man opening his heart to her. And she was going to betray him in the worst way possible. I love you too, she whispered, and it was the truest thing she'd ever said. I love you so much it scares me. He kissed her then, deep and slow, like he was trying to memorize the taste of her. That night, he carried her to his bedroom, and they made love like it was the first and last time. Slow, reverent, intense. Every touch felt like a promise. Every kiss felt like goodbye. Afterward, as she lay in his arms, listening to his heartbeat steady and strong beneath her ear, she made a decision. She couldn't kill him. She wouldn't. Somehow, she'd find another way to save Nia. She'd go to the police, explain everything. Or she'd run, take Nia and disappear somewhere Seo-yeon couldn't find them. There had to be another way. There had to be. But Seo-yeon had other plans. 2 days later, a package arrived at Jade's apartment. Inside was a small handgun, untraceable, with a silencer and a single magazine of bullets. There was also a note. Tomorrow night, his penthouse. He'll be alone. Do it then, or Nia dies. No more delays, no more excuses. S. Jade stared at the gun like it was a snake. Her hands shook as she picked it up. It was heavier than she expected, cold, final. Her phone rang. Seo-yeon, of course. Did you get my gift? The woman asked. I can't do this. Yes, you can. And you will. There has to be another way. Let me talk to him. Maybe we can work something out. Some kind of deal. There is no deal. Seo-yeon's voice turned sharp. He killed my brother. He destroyed my life. The only deal is his death. Tomorrow night, Jade. Or Nia dies. And I'll make sure you watch. Please. No more pleading. No more delays. You've had months to get close to him. You've done your job well. Now finish it. Tomorrow night. Kill Park Min-jun. Or your sister dies screaming. Those are your only choices. I need proof she's still alive. I need to see her. A pause? Then Seo-yeon's voice turned cold. Fine. Video call. 2 minutes. The phone screen changed. Nia appeared. Thinner than before, dark circles under her eyes but alive. Jade? Her voice was small, broken. Please, I want to come home. I'm so tired. I'm so scared. Baby, I know. I'm so sorry. Just one more day, okay? One more day and I'll bring you home, I promise. You keep saying that, Nia sobbed. But nothing changes. I'm still here. I'm still alone. What if you can't save me? What if... The screen went black. Tomorrow night, Seo-yeon said. No more extensions. No more mercy. Do it, or lose her forever. The call ended. Jade sank to the floor, the gun still in her hands, and wept. She cried for Nia, trapped and terrified. She cried for Min-jun, who had no idea the woman he loved was sent to kill him. She cried for herself, for the impossible choice she had to make. Kill the man she loved, or lose the sister who was her whole world. There was no right answer. No way out that didn't destroy her completely. Finally, she stood, wiping her tears. She looked at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were red, her face pale, but her jaw was set. She'd made her decision. Tomorrow night, she would tell Min-jun everything. She'd confess who she really was, why she was really there. He was powerful, connected. If anyone could save Nia, it was him. She'd throw herself on his mercy, beg for his help, and pray that the love he claimed to feel was strong enough to forgive her betrayal. It was a terrible plan. He'd probably kill her, but it was better than the alternatives. She just had to survive one more day. The next day felt surreal. Jade went through the motions at work, smiling when Min-jun smiled, organizing his schedule, fielding calls. But inside, she was falling apart. Min-jun noticed, of course. He always noticed. "You're distracted," he said during a quiet moment in his office. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just tired." He stood and walked around his desk, tilting her chin up so she had to look at him. "Don't lie to me, Jade. I can handle anything except lies." The irony nearly broke her. Her entire relationship with him was built on lies. "I just need to talk to you tonight," she said carefully. "Something important." His expression grew serious. "Should I be worried?" "I don't know. Maybe." "Jade, please, just tonight. Come to dinner and I'll explain everything, I promise." He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "Okay, my place. 8 o'clock. I'll cook." "You cook?" A small smile. "I'm full of surprises, remember?" That evening, Jade prepared herself like a soldier going to battle. She dressed carefully, rehearsing what she'd say, how she'd start, how she'd beg for his forgiveness and help. The gun sat in her purse, hidden but present. Just in case Seoyeon was watching. Just in case she needed proof she'd tried. But she wasn't going to use it. She was going to save both Min-jun and Nia. Somehow. The penthouse was quiet when she arrived, the city lights glittering through floor-to-ceiling windows. Min-jun was in the kitchen, an apron over his dress shirt, actually cooking. The sight was so domestic, so normal it made her heart ache. "I didn't know you could cook," she said, trying to keep her voice light. "I'm full of surprises." He smiled, and it was genuine, warm, the smile he only showed her. "My mother taught me before she died. She said a man who can't feed himself is half a man." "She sounds wise." "She was. She would have liked you." He plated the food, some kind of Korean stew that smelled amazing. "Come, sit. Tell me what's troubling you." They ate dinner, and for a little while Jade let herself pretend this was real. That they were just a couple, sharing a meal, planning a future. Min-jun talked about his day, about a deal he was closing, about plans to expand into new territories. He talked about the future like she'd be there for it. "I've been thinking," he said as they finished eating, "about us, about what comes next." "What do you mean?" He reached across the table and took her hand. "I want you to move in here, officially, not as my assistant, as my partner, my woman." Her heart stopped. "Min-jun, I know it's fast. I know my life is complicated. But these past months with you have been the happiest of my life. I don't want to waste time pretending this is anything less than what it is. I love you. I want to build a life with you." Tears filled her eyes. "There's something I need to tell you first. Whatever it is, we'll handle it together. I don't think we can. I don't think you'll want to, once you know." His expression grew serious. "Jade, what's going on? You're scaring me." She took a deep breath, preparing to confess everything. But before she could speak, the lights went out. "Stay behind me," Min-jun commanded, his entire demeanor shifting instantly. Gone was the gentle man who'd cooked her dinner. This was the Mafia boss, cold and lethal. "Min-jun, what's happening?" "Someone's here, someone who shouldn't be." Suddenly, gunfire erupted. Glass shattered. Men in black tactical gear poured onto the terrace from repelling lines. Min-jun pulled a gun from seemingly nowhere, returning fire with deadly precision. "Get down!" he shouted, pushing her behind the kitchen island. The penthouse became a war zone. Bullets tore through furniture. Smoke filled the air. Min-jun's own security team appeared, engaging the intruders in fierce combat. Through the chaos, Jade heard a voice she recognized. Park Min-jun! Seo-yeon stepped through the shattered glass, flanked by more armed men. Did you really think you could escape me forever? Min-jun's expression turned to ice. Seo-yeon, I should have known you'd be desperate enough for something this stupid. Desperate? Seo-yeon laughed. I'm not desperate, I'm victorious. You took everything from me. Tonight, I take everything from you. You'll never leave here alive. Perhaps, but neither will you, and neither will your little girlfriend. Min-jun's gun shifted, aiming directly at Seo-yeon. Touch her, and you die slowly. Oh, I don't need to touch her. She's been touching you for me. Seo-yeon's smile was cruel. Tell him, Jade. Tell him who you really are. Tell him why you're really here. Min-jun's head turned slightly, though his gun never wavered. What is she talking about? Jade's world was crumbling. Min-jun, I can explain. She's my assassin, Seo-yeon said gleefully. I sent her to kill you. Everything. The job application, the romance, all of it was a lie. She's been playing you for months, waiting for the perfect moment to put a bullet in your head. That's not true, Jade said desperately. Not anymore. I couldn't do it. I love you. Love? Seo-yeon laughed. She doesn't love you. She loves her sister. The sister I kidnapped to force her cooperation. Show him the gun, Jade. Show him the weapon you brought here tonight to kill him with. Min-jun's eyes found Jade's, and the betrayal there was worse than any bullet. Is it true? Yes, but... Did you come here to kill me? At first, yes, but I changed my mind. I was going to tell you everything tonight. I was going to ask for your help to save Nia. He stepped back like she'd hit him. Everything was a lie. Not everything. My feelings for you are real. I love you, Min-jun. I couldn't do it. That's why I'm telling you now. You're telling me because you got caught, he said, his voice cold and dead. If Seo-yeon hadn't shown up, would you have told me? Or would you have shot me when I turned my back? I would have told you, I swear. Your swears mean nothing. He turned back to Seo-yeon, rage in his eyes. This ends tonight. The firefight resumed, more intense than before. In the chaos, Jade saw her purse on the floor, the gun inside visible. She could end this. One shot. Take out Seo-yeon, save Nia, prove to Min-jun where her loyalty truly lay. She grabbed the gun, her hands shaking. Seo-yeon saw her and smiled. Finally, do it, Jade. Kill him. Save your sister. Or prove you're a traitor and watch her die. Jade raised the gun, but her aim wasn't on Min-jun. It was on Seo-yeon. You're wrong, Jade said, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. I'm not your assassin. I never was. She fired. The bullet hit one of Seo-yeon's men, dropping him instantly. She fired again, taking down another. Min-jun stared at her in shock as she emptied the clip at Seo-yeon's forces. Her aim surprisingly accurate for someone who'd never fired a gun before. When the magazine was empty, Min-jun's men finished the rest. Bodies littered the floor. Smoke hung in the air. And Seo-yeon, wounded but alive, lay against the shattered glass, blood spreading across her white suit. You stupid girl, Seo-yeon gasped. You just killed your sister. No, a voice said from the doorway. She saved her. Lee Dong-woo stepped through the smoke, and behind him, wrapped in a blanket and looking terrified but alive, was Nia. Nia. Jade dropped the gun and ran to her sister, pulling her into her arms. Oh my God, you're okay. You're okay. I don't understand, Jade sobbed. How? Min-jun holstered his weapon, his expression unreadable. I've known who you really were for 6 weeks, Jade. The fake identity was good, but not perfect. Lee discovered the truth. I had him track down your sister and extract her 3 weeks ago. She's been safe in one of my properties this whole time. Jade stared at him in shock. You knew? All this time? You knew? I knew you were sent to kill me. I knew about Seo-yeon's plot. What I didn't know was whether you'd actually go through with it. He stepped closer, his dark eyes searching hers. Tonight, you answered that question. You chose me over your mission. You saved my life. But I lied to you. I betrayed you. You were protecting your sister. I understand that. Family is everything. His jaw tightened. What I don't understand is why you didn't trust me enough to tell me the truth sooner. Did you really think I'd let harm come to an innocent girl? Did you think so little of me? I was scared. I didn't know what you'd do. I would have helped you, he said, his voice rough with emotion. I would have saved her the moment you told me. Instead, you suffered alone for months, carrying this burden, believing you had to choose between love and family. Fresh tears spilled down Jade's face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Min-jun looked at Nia, trembling in Jade's arms, then back at Jade. Something in his expression softened. Your sister needs medical attention and food. Lee, take her to the guest room. Get Dr. Kim here immediately. Yes, sir. Lee gently guided Nia away, speaking softly to her in Korean. When they were alone, Min-jun turned back to Jade. The penthouse was destroyed around them, glass and bullet casings everywhere, but all she could see was him. I should be furious, he said quietly. I should throw you out, end this, but I can't. Why not? Because despite everything, despite the lies and the betrayal, what we have is real. I fell in love with the woman beneath the lies. The one who worked herself to exhaustion to give her sister a better life. The one who chose love over survival. That woman, I can forgive. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Probably not, but I'm giving it anyway. He cupped her face, his touch gentle despite everything. I'm giving it because I love you, because I understand why you did what you did, and because I've done far worse things for far less noble reasons. She leaned into his touch, hardly believing this was real. What happens now? Now? I clean up this mess. Deal with Seo-yeon once and for all. Make sure your sister is safe and healthy. And then, he paused, his thumb brushing away her tears. Then we figure out if we can build something real from all these broken pieces. Do you think we can? I think if we survived tonight, we can survive anything. Behind them, Seo-yeon laughed weakly, coughing blood. How touching. The monster and his assassin. In love. It won't last. His world will destroy you both. Min-jun didn't even look at her. Lee, take her to the warehouse. I'll deal with her later. With pleasure, sir. As his men hauled Seo-yeon away, her threats and curses echoing through the ruined penthouse, Min-jun pulled Jade into his arms. I almost lost you tonight, he whispered against her hair. Don't ever scare me like that again. I won't, I promise. Good. Because you're mine now, Jade Carter. Mine to protect. Mine to love. And I don't let go of what's mine. She held him tighter, breathing in his scent, feeling his heartbeat strong and steady against her chest. She'd come here to destroy him and ended up saving them both. 3 months later, Min-jun's penthouse had been completely rebuilt. The bullet holes were gone, the glass replaced, the space transformed from a war zone into a home. A real home, with Nia's textbooks scattered on the coffee table, Jade's favorite blanket draped over the couch, family photos on the walls that hadn't been there before. You know, Nia said one Saturday morning at breakfast, you guys are disgustingly cute, like nauseating. Min-jun raised an eyebrow, sipping his coffee. Disgustingly? Definitely disgusting, Nia confirmed, grinning. The way you look at each other? Gross, but also kind of sweet. so I'll allow it." "How generous of you," Jade laughed, squeezing Min-jun's hand under the table. After Nia left for her tutoring session, Min-jun pulled Jade onto the terrace where they'd first kissed. Manhattan stretched out below them, the city that had witnessed both their destruction and their salvation. "I have something for you," he said, pulling out a small velvet box. Jade's breath caught. "Min-jun?" "I know we did everything backward," he said, opening the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "You tried to kill me. I almost got us both killed. We survived an assassination attempt together. Not exactly a traditional romance. That's one way to put it. But I don't want traditional. I want you. I want mornings where you steal my coffee. I want evenings where we argue about what to watch. I want to help Nia with her homework and pretend I understand American pop culture. I want every messy, complicated, beautiful moment that comes with building a life together." Tears filled Jade's eyes as he knelt down. "Jade Carter, you walked into my life to destroy it and ended up saving it instead. You saw past the monster everyone else sees and loved the man underneath. Will you marry me?" She didn't even hesitate. "Yes. Yes. 1,000 times. Yes." He slid the ring on her finger, then stood and kissed her with all the passion and promise of the future they'd almost lost. When they finally broke apart, both were smiling through tears. "The press is going to have a field day," Jade murmured. "Mafia boss marries his former assassin. Let them talk. I've got everything I need right here." That evening, they threw an engagement party. It was a strange mix of guests. Min-jun's business associates in expensive suits, standing awkwardly next to Jade's old co-workers from the diner. Lee Dong-woo, who'd become almost like family, giving speeches in broken English. Nia, happy and healthy, and finally safe, laughing with Min-jun's younger cousins. As the party wound down, Jade stood on the terrace, looking out at the city. Min-jun came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "That I was trapped between your rage and love," she said softly. "When I first met you, I saw the rage, the power, the danger. I thought that was all you were. But then I saw the love, the gentleness, the man who cooked dinner for his mother's memory and took me to jazz clubs and looked at me like I was the only real thing in his world." She turned in his arms to face him, and somehow, despite everything, love won. Your love saved me, my love saved you, we saved each other. He cupped her face, his eyes intense. Love always wins. At least, with us it does, and it always will. As he kissed her under the Manhattan stars, surrounded by the family they'd built from impossible circumstances, Jade knew that despite all the darkness and danger and impossible choices, they'd found something real, something worth fighting for. She'd come into his world as an assassin and left as his savior. She'd been trapped between rage and love, and somehow, impossibly, miraculously, love had won. And she'd spend the rest of her life proving that it would keep winning, because that's what you did when you loved someone like Park Min-jun. You fought for it. You protected it. You never let go. And Jade Carter was never letting go again. If you loved this story, don't just sit there. Smash that like button right now and drop a comment telling me what you thought. What would you have done if you were in Jade's shoes? Did the romance hit you in the feels? Were you rooting for them the whole time? And seriously, should I do more dark romance mafia stories? Because I've got ideas that will blow your mind. If you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss a story. Trust me, the next one is going to be absolutely insane, even more intense, even more romantic, even more jaw-dropping. I promise you won't want to miss it. Until next time, Keep falling in love with these stories, keep believing in impossible romance, and I'll see you in the next video. This is your girl, bringing you the best stories. Peace out.